So before we begin today, I'd like you to just stop. Whatever you're doing right now, just stop for a moment. I'm going to ask you a question and I don't want you to think about it. I just want you to feel the answer in your body. Have you ever had a moment when you just knew something without any evidence? A phone call was about to come. A wrong turn felt dangerous. A stranger felt familiar. You didn't reason your way to that knowing. It just arrived. Now, most people dismiss these moments as coincidence, or they talk themselves out of them. They say things like, "That's silly. That's not logical." They overthink it. And the moment goes. That is our intuition. And that is one of the most powerful tools we have in our arsenal. And that is what we are going to focus on today. Hi, it's Damien, and welcome back to the Abundance Frequency. If you've been around my work for any time, maybe you've been on a workshop with me or a course, you will already know that a large part of my work focuses on our conversation with the universe. Because I'm a great believer in when we ask for something, then we should be having a conversation about it, not just giving it a shopping list. And as with any type of conversation, as when we talk to a friend, most of our conversation is actually in body language as we know it. It is within the body. It is not in the words we say. And as we already know from previous episodes, the universe doesn't talk in words, it talks in feelings and senses. So our intuition is actually our hotline to the universe. It's our way of knowing what the universe is trying to say to us. So that's where we're going to focus. You can think of it like this. Imagine for a moment you're standing in a perfectly still lake. Just on the edge, in the middle of a forest. The water is warm and calm. And on the far shore, someone drops a pebble. Now, you might not see the splash. You might not hear it. But if you open your mind, you can still feel the ripple when it arrives. A gentle pulse, a subtle shift. That is your intuition. That's the ripple. The universe is constantly dropping pebbles, sending you signals, nudges, hints. But most of us are standing on a noisy dock, arguing with ourselves, scrolling our phones or replaying old conversations. By the time the ripple arrives, we don't even feel it. We're so caught up in our own overthinking, we don't even notice it's there. And on the rare occasions that we aren't overthinking and we do know it's there, we sit down and we overthink. We analyze it. We criticize it. We try to apply logic. And that's our critical mind kicking in. The more we analyze it, the more we pick it apart, the less we hear, because by the time our critical mind is done with it and says, yes, this is a good idea, the ripple's gone. So when we eventually get to the big question, should I move house? Should I change jobs? We have that many frequencies, that many signals coming from the universe, because these big questions have a lot of implications. So there is a lot to analyze. And our critical minds just aren't up to the job. Here's an interesting little thing. Your unconscious mind, your subconscious, processes about 11 million bits of data per second. That's 11 million. Your conscious mind, conversely, processes about 50 bits per second. That's 50. So that's 11 million versus 50. Now, if you think about it for a moment, your subconscious, it controls all your physical reactions, your breathing, your heartbeat, the touch signals along your skin. So this makes sense. There is a lot of information your subconscious processes before your conscious mind ever gets involved. And every now and then it will feel those ripples from the universe. It will say, this is something we need to be looking at. This is something we need to be doing. This is a good opportunity. And that fires up your intuition, because your intuition is the bridge between your subconscious and conscious mind. And when the critical mind gets involved, that whisper of a hunch, that hint, that gentle ripple becomes silenced. We pick it apart, we analyze it, we overthink it, we wait. And by the time the moment comes when we actually look at it, it's dead. So today we are going to practice turning the volume back up on our intuition to give it more focus. So if it's appropriate to do so, just go ahead and settle back down. Doesn't matter if you're sat down or laying. Each is perfect. Make sure your spine is straight, just so the energy moves through your body easily and freely. And just go ahead and take a nice deep breath and let it go slowly. That's it. Now, I'd like you to bring to mind a choice, a real choice that you have to make. Doesn't have to be big or huge. In fact, at this stage, it's better that it's smaller so we don't get the critical mind involved by default. Have you got one? Good. Now, we're not going to try to make a choice. We are just going to notice how our body is reacting, what our intuition is saying about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a feeling for the decision, get a feeling for the question, and then we're going to look at two choices, a yes or a no, at one situation or another, and just see what the reaction says. There is no right or wrong answers, it's just feeling the answer. So I'd like you to take a moment to bring to mind a question, bring to mind that question, and really get a sense of the context of it, the feelings and all the situation around it. That's it. Now we're going to set up a baseline, so just take a moment and let your mind wander to your scalp, to your forehead. Notice any sensations, any feelings of warmth or tension. Down to your neck, your shoulders, your chest, and even down to your stomach. Just observing, nothing to change, nothing to do. Just noticing the sensations in your body. That's it. Now, I'd like you to bring to mind the first option. It could be, I need to wear blue. It could be, I will choose pasta for dinner. It could be a simple yes. Just one option, one direction. And just let that direction float through your mind, that option just float through your mind. You don't need to analyze it, just let it be. And notice where you feel that in your body. That's it. Now just let your mind wander back up to your scalp, your forehead, noticing the sensations, any changes, anything slightly different. It will be a subtle difference, if any. And down to your throat, your shoulders, your chest. That's it. Good. Now take a nice deep breath and just let it go. Let it go. Let that option go. And Move on to the second option. Just bring that to mind and again let it float through your mind. No need to label or observe. No need to change anything. Just let it drift, let it be. Notice where that settles in your body. That's it. And now bring your mind back up to your scalp, your forehead. Notice those sensations. And down through your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach. Getting a sense of anything that's changed. That's it. You might have felt a hint of a ripple, and that's your intuition. Just notice where you feel it in your body. And when you're ready, just go ahead and take a nice deep breath, and as you let it go, open those eyes. Welcome back. Whatever you experienced in that session is fine. It's helpful to remember at this stage that we are starting a conversation with a very old friend who, to be frank, we have ignored for too many years. So the conversation will be a little stilted at first, a little slow. But as we get to know each other again, we realize how we liked each other so much in the first place. Now, if you want to go deeper into this, if you want to experience a real refinement of this, we do cover this on the Inner Compass module, on the Abundance Within course. So feel free to join me on that, and where you can go really deep into using your intuition as a powerful tool for manifestation. The link is in the show's notes. So here's your invitation for the week. Whenever you have a small decision to make, nothing big, just small decisions on the week. We are just getting the conversation going. Just take a moment and go through that same exercise we have just done. This is not about getting it right every time. This is about rebuilding trust and reconnecting to your intuition. So it becomes second nature. So you won't even have to think about it. It just is. You just hear it. So next week, we are going to talk about a state where all of this becomes effortless, where things just happen. The universe just gives us things because it is pulling us in the right direction. Now, you probably realize that we're going to be talking about a state of flow, but we're not talking about chasing flow. When people say, oh, I need to get into flow. No. Flow is a state you're in when you're in the right direction. It's an indicator that we are having a strong conversation with the universe and we are on the same page. So I look forward to seeing you then.